Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Here we are from Group 3. We will present learning material about IFRS or International Financial Reporting Standard to fulfill assignment for International Accounting course. Before starting, I will introduce the member of Group 3. Here is Griselda Ladina Maharani and my partner is Suci Maharani. This is table of contents, include difference IFRS and US GAAP, inventories, property, plant and equipment, investment property, impairment of asset, intangible asset, goodwill, borrowing costs, leases, and disclosure and presentation. The first material is differences IFRS and US GAAP. Numerous differences exist between IFRS and US GAAP. The types of difference that exist can be classified as follows. The first is definition difference. Difference in definition exists even though concepts are similar. Definition difference can lead to recognition or measurement difference. Second is recognition difference. Difference in recognition criteria and or guidance are related to first, whether an item is recognized or not, two, how it is recognized, and the last one is when it is recognized. Three is measurement difference. Difference in the amount recognized resulting from either, first, a difference in the method required, or two, a difference in the detailed guidance for applying a similar method. Three is alternative. One set of standards allow a choice between two or more alternative methods. The other set of standards requires one specific method to be used. Next is lack of requirement or guidance. IFRS might not cover an issue addressed by US GAAP and vice versa. Presentation difference. Difference exists in the presentation of items in the financial statement. And the last is disclosure difference. Difference in information presented in the notes to financial statement are related to whether a disclosure is required and the manner in which disclosure are required to be made. The first is about inventories in International Accounting Standard number 2. Inventories is an example of an international accounting standard that provide more extensive guidance than US GAAP, especially with regards to inventories of service providers and disclosure related to inventories. International Accounting Standard 2 provides guidance on determining the initial cost of inventories, the cost formula to be used in allocating the cost of inventories to expense, and the subsequent measurement of inventories on the balance sheet. The cost of inventories include cost of purchase, cost of conversion costs, and other costs. Costs that are expressly excluded from the cost of inventories are abnormal waste. The second is storage unless necessary for production process. The third is selling costs, and the last is purely administrative overhead. International Accounting Standard 2 doesn't allow as much choice with regard to cost formula as does US GAAP, first in, first out, or FIFO, and weighted average costs are acceptable treatment, but last in, first out, or LIFO is not. The standard cost method and retail method also are acceptable, provided that they approximate costs as defined in International Accounting Standard 2. The cost of inventories of items that are not ordinarily interchangeable and goods or service produced and cigarette for a specific project must be accounted for using the specific identification method. Next, International Accounting Standard 16 about property, plant, and equipment. Recognition of initial and subsequent costs, relying on the definition of an asset profile in the IASB frameworks for the preparation and presentation of financial standard. Both initial costs and subsequent costs related to property, plant, and equipment should be recognized as an asset when, first, it is probable that future economic benefit will flow to the enterprise, and the second, the cost can be measured reliably. Replacement of part on an asset should be capitalized if first and the second point are met, and the carrying amount of the replaced part should be recognized. Next is about measurement at initial recognition. Property, plant, and equipment should be initially measured at cost, which includes the first purchase price. The second, all costs directly attributable in bringing the asset to the allocation and condition necessary for it to perform as intended. And the last is an intimate estimate of the cost of dismantling and removing the asset and restoring the site on which it's located. Next is measurement after initial measurement subsequent to initial recognition. A substantive area of difference between IFRS and US GAAP relates to the measurement of property, plant, and equipment subsequent to initial recognition. Depreciation. Depreciation is based on estimate useful lives, taking residual value into account. The depreciation method should reflect the pattern in which the asset future economic benefits are expected to be consumed. Straight-line depreciation will not always be appropriate. And the last is the recognition. The recognition refers to the removal of an asset or liability from the balance sheet and the account. Revaluation model. The first, fair value at date of revaluation less subsequent or accumulated impairment loss. The two, most revalue often enough so carrying value not materially different from fair value. The three, revalue interclass. 4, increases are credited to revaluation surplus account in the OSE section of equity on the balance sheet. 5, subsequent decrease reduce previous surplus to 0. 6, present at gross revalue cost and net, and the last is transfer surplus to retain earning on sale or disposal. Next, investment property, International Accounting Standard number 40. International Accounting Standard 40, investment property, principle the accounting treatment for investment property, which is defined as land and or building held to earn rentals, capital appreciation, or both. The principle related to accounting for property, plant, and equipment generally apply to investment property, including the option to use either a cost model or a fair value model in measuring investment property subsequent to acquisition. The fair value model for investment property differs from the revaluation method for property, plant, and equipment in the change in fair value are recognized as gains or loss in the current income and not as a revaluation surplus. Even if an entity chooses the cost model, it is required to disclose the fair value of investment property in the notes to financial statement. In contrast to IFRS, US GAAP generally requires use of the cost model for investment property. Next, International Accounting Standard 36, impairment of asset. Impairment of asset requires impairment testing and recognition of impairment loss for property, plant, and equipment, intangible asset, goodwill, and investment in subsidiaries, associates, and joint venture. It doesn't apply to inventory, construction in progress, deferred tax asset, employee benefit asset, or financial assets such as account and notes receivable. US GAAP also requires impairment testing of assets. However, several important differences exist between the two sets of standards. Under International Accounting Standard 36, an entity must assess annually whether there are any indicators that an asset is impaired. Events that might indicate an asset is impaired are first external events such as decline in market value and internal events such as a physical damage, obsolescence, idleness of an asset, the restricting of part of an asset, or the worse than expected economic performance of the asset. Next, about intangible asset, International Accounting Standard 38. Definition, intangible, non-monetary asset, no physical substance, held for production of goods or service rental to others for administrative purpose, must be controlled by enterprise as a result of past events from which future economic benefits are expected to be realized, must expense immediately if definition not met unless obtained in business combination, and then it is included in goodwill. Applies to first is purchase intangible. Purchase intangible are initially measured at cost and their useful life is assessed as finite or indefinite. The cost of intangible asset with a finite useful life is amortized on a systematic basis over the useful life. The residual value is assumed to be zero unless a third party has agreed to purchase the asset at the end of its useful life. The second is there is an active market for the asset from which its residual value can be estimated. The second is intangible acquired in a business combination. Under both International Accounting Standard and US GAAP, intangibles such as patent, trademarks, and customer lists acquired in a business combination should be recognized as asset apart from goodwill at their fair value. The next is internally generated intangible. A major difference between IFRS and US GAAP lies in the treatment of internally generated intangibles. To determine whether an internally generated intangible should be recognized as an asset, International Accounting Standard requires the expenditure giving rise to the potential intangible to be classified as either research or development expenditure. And the last is goodwill, covers partly under IFRS 3. The next is goodwill. Recognized only in business combination, equals consideration paid by acquired plus recognized non-controlling interest less fair value of net asset acquired. Negative goodwill is possible, not amortized as life is indefinite. Impairment of goodwill, first is tested at least annually. Second is impairment is tested at the level of the CGU or cash generating unit. Use bottom up and top down test to allocate overall goodwill to each cash generating unit. Compare carrying value of cash generating unit, including goodwill, with the recoverable amount. The next is borrowing costs. Revised in 2007 to be similar to US GAAP as part of convergence project, capitalize all borrowing costs to extent they are attributable to acquisition, construction, or production of a qualifying asset, expense all other borrowing costs. Borrowing costs are interest and other costs incurred in connection with borrowing broader in scope than US GAAP definition of interest cost. International Accounting Standard 23 includes foreign currency exchange. Qualifying asset takes substantial time to get ready for intended use or sale. Under International Accounting Standard 23 and not US GAAP inventories qualify if substantial time period is above. Capitalized interest that could have been avoided in absence of expenditure on the qualifying asset. Multiply week average accumulate expenditure by appropriate interest rate. Can use actual interest rate if can associate specific borrowing as being less than total expenditures. And the last is unlike USGAAP allowed to net interest income on invest borrow funds against interest cost. Next, about International Accounting Standard 17, leases. Distinguish between finance capitalized leases and operating leases. Also provides rules for sale-leaseback transaction, conceptually similar to USGAAP, but less specific guidance. One of the best example of principle-based versus rule-based provision of IFRS and GAAP respectively. International Accounting Standard 17 says lease is financed when substantially all the risks and rewards of ownership have been transferred to leasing. Sale-leaseback finance lease must defer any gain on sale and recognize it in income over the lease term. USGAAP rules generally similar. Fair value less than carrying value. International Accounting Standard 17 recognizes loss only if loss due to impairment, whereas USGAAP requires immediate recognition of loss regardless of source. Sale-leaseback operating lease. International Accounting Standard 17 recognizes gain immediately in income, and USGAAP amortize gain over lease term. Disclosure. Leases must disclose future minimum payment related to finance leases and operating leases separately as follow. The first is amount to be paid in year 1, amount to be paid in years 2 until 5 as a single amount, amounts to be paid in year 6 and beyond as single amount, and the last is present value of future minimum payment under finance leases. USGAAP more detailed info disclose payment for each of years 1 until 5 separately by year, and then remaining years a single amount. IASB Convergence Project exposure draft is issued in August 2010 for proposed new standard and on accounting for leases. Significant change proposed for leasers and leases. Lease will recognize right of use asset and liability to make lease payment for all leases. No more finance and operating lease distinction. All leases will be finance leases. Take over for this possible term. Leasers will recognize an asset for right to receive payment and recognize lease asset or recognize liability depending on exposure to risk and rewards associated with leased asset. Sale-leaseback seller will recognize as sale or borrowing depending on certain conditions. And the last material about disclosure and presentation. International Accounting Standard 17 Statement of Cash Flow. The point is classified as operating, investing, or financing. Operating cash flow may use direct or indirect method. Interest, dividends, and income tax must be reported separately. Interest and dividends may be classified operating or financing. Interest and dividends received may be classified operating or financing or investing. Income tax are operating unless specifically identified with investing or financing activities. Can only disclose non-cash investing and finances activities outside of this statement. Must disclose and reconcile component of cash and cash equivalent with amount report on balance sheet. Bank overdraft can reduce cash or cash equivalent if an integral part of cash management otherwise classified as financing activities. IFRS or USGAAP difference in statement of cash flow. Interest paid and received and dividend received all operating cash flow. Dividend paid are financing cash flow. Indirect method reconciliation must begin with net income. Direct method must reconcile operating cash flow to net income. International Accounting Standard 10, even after reporting period. The point is known under US-GAAP as subsequent event, covers even between balance sheet date and an authorized date of issue of financial statement. Adjusting even exists at balance sheet date, such as estimate legal, settlement finalized before authorized date of issue must adjust as of balance sheet date. Non-adjusting event arose after balance sheet date, but before isn't authorized disclosed nature of event and estimate of financial effect or that estimate can be made. International Accounting Standard 8 Accounting Policy change in accounting estimate and errors, hierarchy of authoritative pronouncement, IASB standard or interpretation specific to the event or transaction, international EASB standards or interpretation dealing with similar and related issue. Definition, recognition, criteria, and measurement concept is in the IASB framework. Most recent pronouncement of other standard setting bodies that use similar framework. Change in accounting policy only if required by IFRS result in more relevant and reliable information. Apply retrospectively if practical adjust current value of affect asset and liabilities and beginning retained earnings do not report cumulative effect of change in net income. International Accounting Standard 33 and International Accounting Standard 34. International Accounting Standard 33 earning per share, basic and diluted EPS must be on face of income statement. US GAAP has more detailed guidance re diluted APS but appears consistent with International Accounting Standard 33. International Accounting Standard 34 interim financial reporting treat interim periods fundamentally as discrete reporting periods versus US GAAP which treats interim periods as integral part of full year. No guidance as to who should prepare, how often, and how soon after end of the period, and describe minimum content and accounting principle applied. Next is a non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operation. First, reports partly on balance sheet at lower of current value of fair value, less cost to sell similar to US GAAP. Second is not depreciable. And the third is discontinued operation after tax profit or loss and after tax gain on disposal of assets shown as single amount on face of income statement. Disclose details in notes or on the face of the income statement similar to US GAAP, except for US GAAP need to show pre and post tax profit or loss on income statement. Definition of what constitutes discontinued operation narrow under IFRS. And the last about IFRS 8 operating segment. The point is part of short-term convergence project with FASB. Extensive disclosure required. Must meet any of three quantitative tests: revenue, profit, or loss asset. Disclosure similar to US GAAP, except the latter doesn't require disclosure of liabilities. If revenue reporting by operating segment less than 75% of total revenue, then report additional segment, otherwise not required under the three quantitative tests until 75% reached. Okay, thank you. And the next material will be continued by my partner, Suci Maharani. Suci, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Griselda. Here, my name is Suci Maharani. I will explain International Financial Reporting Standard Part 2. Next slide. This is a table of contents. There are current liabilities, provision, contingent liabilities and contingent asset, employee benefits, share-based payment, income tax, revenue recognition, and financial instrument. Next slide. At the first, this is IAS 1, current liabilities. IAS 1, presentation of financial statement requires liabilities to be classified as current or non-current. Current liabilities are those liabilities that a company 1. Expects to settle in its normal operating cycle. 2. Holds primarily for the purpose of trading. 3. Expects to settle within 12 months of the balance sheet date. 4. Doesn't have the right to defer until 12 months after the balance sheet date. The classification and accounting for current liabilities under IFRS is very similar to US GAAP. Difference related to the following: 1. Revenue short-term debt may be reclassified as long-term debt only if refinancing is complete prior to the balance sheet date. Under US GAAP, a refinancing agreement must be reached, but the refinancing need not be complete by the balance sheet date. 2. Amounts payable on demand due to violation of debt covenants. Amounts payable on demand to the violence of the covenant must be classified as current unless a waiver of at least 12 months is obtained from the lender by the balance sheet date. The waiver must be obtained by annual report issuance date under US GAAP. And 3. Bank overdrafts are net against case if the overdrafts form an integral part of the entity cash management, otherwise bank overdrafts are classified as current liabilities. Bank overdrafts are always classified as current liabilities under US GAAP. Next slide. The next is IAS 37. IAS 37 distinguishes between a contingent liability, which is not recognized on the balance sheet date, and a provision, which is a provision is defined as a liability of uncertain timing or amount. A provision shall be recognized when 1. The entity has a present obligation, legal or constructive, as a result of a past event. 2. It's probable more likely than not that an outflow of research embodying economic events will be required to settle the obligation. And 3. A reliable estimate of the obligation can be made. Contingent liabilities are defined in IAS 37 as one of the following: possible obligation that arise from past event and whose existence will be confirmed by the occurrence or non-occurrence of a future event. A present obligation that is not recognized because it isn't probable that an outflow of research will be required to settle the obligation, or the amount of the obligation can be measured by sufficient reliability. IAS 37 requires the recognition of a provision for the present obligation related to an onerous contract. That is a contract in which the unavoidable cost of meeting the obligation of the contract exceeds the economic benefits expected to be received from it. And the next restructuring is a program that is planned and controlled by management and that materially changes either 1. The scope of business undertaken by an entity, 2. The manner in which that business is conducted. A contingent asset is probable asset that arise from past event and whose existence will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of future events. IAS 37 allows earlier recognition of a contingent asset and related gain than does US GAAP, which generally requires the asset to be realized before it can be recognized. Next slide. And the next is IAS 19. IAS 19 employee benefit is a single standard that covers all forms of employee compensation and benefits other than share-based compensation. For example, stock option, which is covered in IFRS 2. IAS 19 provides guidance with respect to four types of employee benefits. One, short-term employee benefits such as compensation, absent, and bonus. Compensation absent, for short-term compensation absent, an amount is accrued when services are provided only if the compensation absent accumulate over time and can be carried forward to future periods. In the case of non-accumulating compensated absent, an expense and liability is recognized only when the absent occurs. Two, post-employment benefits include pension, medical benefits, and other post-employment benefits. IAS 19 distinguishes between defined contribution plan and defined benefit plans. The accounting for a defined contribution plan is a simple and straightforward. An employer accrues an expense and liability at the time the employer renders service for the amount the employer is obligated to contribute to the plan. Reduce the liability when contributions are met. The accounting for a defined post-employment benefit plan is considerably more complicated. Three, other long-term employment benefits such as deferred compensation and disability benefit. Other long-term employment benefits include, for example, long-term compensated absence, long-term disability benefit bonus payable 12 months or more after the end of the period, and deferred compensation paid 12 months or more after the end of the period. A liability shall be recognized for other long-term employment benefits equal to the difference between 1. The present value of the defined benefit obligation to the fair value of plan asset, if any. And the last, termination benefits such as severance pay and early retirement benefit. IAS 19 requires termination benefit to be recognized as an expense and a liability when an employer is demonstrably committed to either 1. Terminating the employment of an employer of group of employees or providing termination benefit as a result of an offer made to ensure voluntary termination. Next slide. IFRS 2 share-based payment. IFRS 2 share-based payment set out measurement principle and specific requirements for three types of share-based payment transaction. 1. Equity settled share-based payment transaction, in which the entity receives goods or service as consideration for equity instrument of the entity, including stock option granted to employees. Share-based payment to employees, the transaction shall be measured at the fair value of the equity instrument granted because the fair value of the service provided by the employees generally is not reliably measurable. 2. Cash settled share-based payment transaction, in which the entity acquires good or service by incurring liabilities to the supplier of those goods or service for amounts that are based on the price or value of the entity's shares or the equity instrument of the entity. And 3. Choice of settlement share-based payment transaction, in which the terms of the arrangement provide either the entity of the supplier of goods or service with a choice of whether the entity settles the transaction in cash or by using equity instruments. Next slide. The next is IAS 12, income tax. IAS 12, income tax, and USGAP take a similar approach to accounting for income tax. Both standards adopt an asset and liability approach that recognize deferred tax asset and liabilities for temporary difference and for operating loss and tax credit carry forwards. 1. Tax law and rate. IAS 12 requires that current and deferred tax be measured on the basis of the tax law and rates that have been enacted or substantially enacted by the balance date. To help make this assessment, the ISB has published guidelines that address to the point in time when the tax law change is substantively enacted in many of the jurisdictions that apply IFRS. To minimize the double taxation of corporate dividends, tax paid by both the company and its shareholders, some countries apply a lower tax rate to profits that are distributed to shareholders than to profits that are retained by the company. And the next, recognition of deferred tax asset. IAS 12 requires recognition of deferred tax asset if future realization of tax benefit is probable, where probable is undefined. Under US GAAP, a deferred tax asset must be recognized if realization is more likely than not. And the next is disclosure. IAS 12 requires extends disclosure to be made with regard to income tax, including disclosure of the current and deferred components of tax expense. The standard also requires an explanation of the relationship between hypothetical tax expense based on statutory tax rates and report tax expense based on the effective tax rate. IFRS versus US GAAP. Application of IFRS can create a temporary difference unknown under US GAAP. For example, the revelation of property, plant, and equipment for financial statement proposed in accordance with IAS 16 revelation model with no equivalent adjustment from tax purpose will result in a temporary difference that cannot exist under US GAAP. And the next is financial statement presentation. Under US GAAP, deferred tax asset and liabilities generally are classified as current or non-current based on the classification of the related asset or liability. For tax loss and credit carry-forwards based on the expected timing of realization. Next slide. The next is IAS 18, revenue recognition. IAS 18 revenue is a single standard that covers most revenue, in particular revenue from the sale of goods, the rendering of service, and interest, royalties, and dividend. There is no equivalent single standard in US GAAP. US rules related to revenue recognition are found in more than 200 different authoritative pronouncements, making a direct comparison between IAS 18 and US GAAP difficult. General measurement principle. IAS 18 requires revenue to be measured at the fair value of the consideration received or receivable. The next is identification of the transaction generating revenue. Revenue recognition criteria are usually applied to individual transactions, but in case with multiple elements, it may be necessary to separate the transaction into distinct units from separate revenue recognition. Sales of goods. There are several conditions that must be met for revenue from the sale of goods to be recognized. 1. The significant risks and rewards of ownership of the goods have been transferred to the buyer. 2. Neither continuing managerial involvement normally associated with ownership nor effective control of the goods sold is retained. 3. The amount of revenue can be measured reliably. 4. It is probable that the economic benefit associated with the sale will flow to the seller. And last, the costs incurred or to be incurred with respect to the sale of goods can be measured reliably. And the next is rendering of service. Revenue recognition in service transaction follows a two-pronged criterion. When the outcome can be reliably estimated and it's probable that economic benefits will fall to the enterprise. Revenue is recognized proportionally based on the extent of service rendered, known as the state of completion basis, interest, royalty, and dividends. Next slide. And in an exchange of good or service if the exchange items are similar in nature and value, no revenue, no gain or loss is recognized. If the exchange goods or service are dissimilar in nature, revenue is recognized at the fair value of the goods or service received, adjusted for the amount of any cash paid or received. When the fair value of the goods or service received cannot be measured reliably, revenue shall be measured as the fair value of the goods service given up, adjusted for the amount of any cash paid or received. IS 18 Part B. Sales transaction, service transaction, and interest, royalty, and dividends. IS, uh, IS 18 Part B, the ISB document published to company IS 18 provide example illustration to application of the standard to measure types of revenue generating transaction. Most of the examples are self-explanatory and the relationship of the example to the underlying provision of the standard are straightforward. The example company IS 18 but technically are not part of the standard issue covered in the example include 1. Sales transaction. Bill and hold sales, goods shipped subject to condition, layaway sales, sale and repurchase agreements, subscription sales, installment sales, and real estate sales. 2. Service transaction. Installation fees, servicing fees include in the price of product, advertising commission, insurance agency commission, financial service fees, admission fees, initiation entrance and membership fees, franchise fees, and fees from the development of customized software. And the last is interest, royalties, and dividend, license fees, and royalties. Customer loyalty program. Entities employing customer loyalty programs often face decision on recognizing and measuring obligation from providing free or discounted goods or service through award points. Customer loyalty programs provide guidance on this matter. Under IFRIC 13, award credits are treated as a distinct component of the sales transaction where they are earned. The fair value of the consideration received is allocated between award credits and other components of the sale, with the amount allocated to award credits based on their fair value. If the entity provides the award, a revenue is recognized when award credits are redeemed and the obligation to provide the free or discounted item is fulfilled. The of redeemed award credits relative to the total expected redemption. And the last is construction contracts. IS 11 covers fixed price and cost plus construction contracts, but use the present type of completion method when outcomes can be reliably estimated. Cost plus contracts require probable economic benefits and identifiable measurable cost. Fixed price contracts aid the need for measurable total revenue and identifiable costs at the balance sheet date. Next slide. And the last is financial instrument. IFRS guidance for financial instrument includes three standards: IAS 32, IAS 39, and IFRS 7. IFRS 9 issued in 2009 to replace IAS 39 become effective in 2013. IAS 39 faced opposition in the EU, leading to modification for public campaigns endorsed by the European Commission in 2004. Definition: IAS 32 defines a financial instrument as any contract that gives rise to both a financial asset of the entity and a financial liability or equity instrument of another entity. Liability or equity. IAS 32 dictates the classification of financial instrument as liabilities, equity, or combination guided by contractual arrangements, substance, and definition. Compound financial instrument. A compound financial instrument like a convertible bond undergoes split accounting in IAS 32. It separates into a financial liability component for interest and principal payments and an equity component called option for conversion into common shares. Classification of financial asset and financial liabilities. IAS 39 classifies financial asset and liabilities into categories that determine their measurement. 1. Financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, held for trading or elected under the fair value option. 2. Held to maturity investment, intention to hold fixed payment asset until maturity. 3. Loans and receivable, fixed payment asset without active market costs. And 4. Available for sale financial asset, not in other categories or elected as available for sale. For financial liabilities at fair value through profit or loss, held for trading or under the fair value option. Financial liabilities measured at amortized cost, default category for most liabilities, including accounts payable and bonds payable. Next slide. Measurement of financial instrument. Initial instrument, financial asset, and liabilities are initially valued at fair value, usually matching the transaction amount. Transaction costs, except for FVPL, asset and liabilities, impact the asset or liability fair value. For FVPL items, transaction costs are expensed immediately. Subsequent measurement. Subsequent to initial recognition, financial assets and liabilities are measured using one of three values. 1. Cost, 2. Amortized cost, or 3. Fair value. Available for sale financial asset denominated in a foreign currency. Available for sale asset fair value changes are in other comprehensive income. For foreign currency asset, IAS 39 treats them as if carried at amortized cost, recognition the resulting foreign exchange gain or loss in the net income. Remaining fair value changes are in comprehensive income. Impairment. IAS 39 requires an entity at each balance sheet date to assess whether there is any objective evidence that a financial asset is impaired. And the next is the recognition. The recognition refers to the process of removing asset or liability from the balance sheet. And the last is derivatives. Derivative are financial instruments such as option, forward, future, and swap for value change in response to the change in a specified interest rate, financial instrument price, commodity price, foreign exchange rate, index, credit rating, or other variable. IFRS 39 requires derivative to be measured at fair value receivable. Impairment of receivable, IAS 39 state that the loss should be measured as the difference between the carrying amount of the portfolio of receivable and the present value of the future cash flows expected to be received. As sale of receivable, the general principle in IAS 39 is that a financial asset may be recognized when the significant risk and reward associated with ownership of the asset have been transferred to another entity. Okay, that's all the discussion related to IFRS Part 1 and Part 2. That's all we can say. Please apologize if there's words that are not clear. Hopefully, we can improve it again. We end it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.